boom, boom.
I'm going to tell you this about Jay-Z that many people may not know. This is his secret son.
Boom, boom, getting them swinging.
And you've never seen the freestyle they tried to hide.
Mind yours, or your mind will be a stain on that sidewalk.
If you're already part of the OnPoint Stories family, get in the comments and share so we can break the internet again. And if you're new, get ready to have your mind blown. Just because Jay-Z has spent the past few decades living in the public eye, you may think you know everything about him that you would want to know. However, you couldn't be further from the truth. Watch until the end because we are even going to expose leaked proof of Jay-Z's ties to industry plant, Lil Ma Boo.
Wait, can I do a hit on a scooter?
In this highly unauthorized documentary, we are going to connect a few dots which will expose things that I guarantee you had no clue about. Grab some popcorn and a drink because this is going to be a special OnPoint story.
Up in the kitchen, cooking like the chicken.
Give me the mic. Now, let me ride my bike.
Probably knew that he was an owner of the Brooklyn Nets.
I asked for two things out of my partners in ownership. We named the New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, and the second one is that I opened it with the concert.
But did you know that he was arrested for gun possession, or that he was accused of punching a fan, and he admitted to shooting his brother when he was 12? Maybe you knew some of these things and could probably care less, but this is where things start to get interesting and we start connecting dots. Few people know that Jay-Z is actually J. Cole's uncle. They had a family feud, and this is why they only had one song together in over a decade.
Some nigga asked me why Jay never shout me out.
It makes you wonder why they tried to act like they never even knew each other, when they were actually related the entire time.
Just waiting, just praying that Jay is gonna show up. So about 2 hours later, we see this black Phantom turn the corner. So Jay gets out of the car. I'm like, yo, Jay, yeah, and he was like, I don't want this.
Why Jay never shout me out like I'm supposed to give a fuck? Don't you
And
know?
I bet you didn't know he has a secret son that even his wife didn't know about until recently.
It's that boy, young thing, yes, sir, I did it all the way. And you people be talking, oh, you know I don't play.
Or how he became more successful than 95% of his peers in the music industry.
3 to 5% of artists have a successful career. It's crazy, right? That's a bad thing. 3 to 5%. And maybe less than that go platinum.
How about this? I can almost guarantee you don't know what his 100th problem actually is. And it's been hidden in plain sight in front of our eyes for all these years.
And as we pull off, about 5 minutes down the road, we see a car screeching, lights blaring, and we look and we see K9 unit coming up the highway. So I have 99 problems, but that bitch ain't one.
Everyone knows Jay-Z and Nas had beef, but many didn't know this feud continues to this day. Between their sons, Little Jay-Z and Little Nas, these are questions we will answer in this video.
I'm like this, boom, boom, getting them swinging. Ready for your clique.
Just soul like ether. Teach you the king, you know you. Godson across the belly. I prove you lost already. Yourself.
Before he became Jay-Z and on the top 5 MC list, Sean Carter would learn to craft his flow on the streets of New York.
I saw soak of the bride walk. You see something, say nothing, mind yours.
Sean Carter, also known as Jay-Z, would use this upbringing to reach massive levels of success. However, this upbringing would also play a pivotal role in many of the unbelievable dots we will be connecting in this documentary. This takes us to Marcy projects. The 1980s played a major role on Jay-Z's upbringing, but we first need to go back a little further. Jay-Z has painted a picture we've come to know about Marcy projects, but there's still more to learn about its past. Before the land was earmarked for urban development, it held a secret. It was once the site of an old Dutch windmill. Think about this, these Dutch roots were deeply embedded in the soil Jay-Z's foundation.
They started pumping water out to reclaim the land, so it would be more marshes and unusable. So then landowners, 2 or 3 landowners would come together and say, well, if we want to exploit the land, we have to build a mill.
You're probably wondering what this has to do with Jay-Z. Pay attention to the rhythm of the windmill and the conviction of the Dutchman. This is literally the soil Jay-Z would come to know as home decades later.
And there were 2 people running the mill, as someone is running the mill now, my colleague Robert. And if you look on the outside, you see, that's what I imagine. If I would be a kid and my father would be the miller, this is what I would experience all day.
By digging into this forgotten part, we can find a deeper link to Jay-Z's roots that connects the present to the past. This leads us to a world of understanding about the many layers of the history that make up Marcy Projects and how it raised Jay-Z. Jay-Z would later go on to naturally create metaphoric bars, just like any solid Dutchman.
It's nice to have a windmill, but it's better to rent it.
Gotta pay rent, bring dollars in.
Before we get into the story of the man that pulled a gun on Jay-Z and his team when they tried to get Jay-Z's coat and jewelry back, we first need to understand a little bit about Marcy and how this would teach Jay-Z to make life or death choices even over materialistic items. In the middle of the 20th century, New York City had a lot of housing needs that Marcy Projects was built to meet those needs. The city had a lot of problems, like not enough homes, too many people, and bad living conditions, especially for people with low incomes. People were also becoming more aware of the need for social change and urban renewal to deal with poverty and inequality. In this situation, public housing projects like Marcy were seen as a way to help low-income families find affordable homes and raise living standards. When they were finished in the late 1940s and early 1950s, the Marcy houses were part of a bigger effort by the government and housing authorities to deal with these important economic and social problems. Urban planning trends at the time also had an effect on the building of Marcy projects. These trends favored large-scale redevelopment projects as a way to improve urban areas and provide modern, energy-efficient housing choices. Despite the fact that projects like Marcy were meant to make people's living conditions better, they also had big effects on the neighborhoods they served, changing the look of cities like New York for decades to come. This brings us to the 1980s, when Marcy housing projects had to deal with a lot of problems. Crime and violence went up, and drug dealing and gang activity made people feel unsure of their safety. Buildings had maintenance problems, and infrastructure was falling apart because of lack of care, making living conditions worse for many. These issues would have a direct impact on Jay-Z. When Jay-Z was 12, his brother was addicted to drugs and stole from him as a means to support his habit. Jay-Z would look for a means to send a message to his brother to put an end to this. It's said that Jay-Z was given a gun at some point. In an effort to put an end to being robbed, he decided to shoot at his brother, possibly intending to simply scare him. However, he ended up shooting his brother in the shoulder for stealing jewelry. Jay-Z decided to open up about this unfortunate situation as a means to promote his memoir, Decoded. He randomly brought up old events that happened in the past. After shooting his brother, Jay-Z thought his life was over for what he had done. He was afraid of spending the rest of his life in prison, as we are about to hear in this recount.
It was a shot to not as to fatally wound, but just and to be honest, I don't even think that he was aiming to really hit him, in his defense. In all honesty, he just wanted to get this nigga a scare. And so in the song, the You Must Love Me, he talked about he ran to my crib. You bust a gun, I don't care who you are, you get nervous. You get nervous and, you need somewhere to run to. So I guess he was like, let me run over this nigga house and drop this shit off, worst case scenario.
Thinking I'm ass out, hot gun burning my waist, ran straight to Jazz house.
Even with all of these problems, the community showed strength by building strong social networks to deal with poverty, unemployment, and a lack of access to basic services like healthcare and education. Even though there were problems, the 1980s were a big year for culture at Marcy Projects. During this time, hip-hop music grew in the area. When artists like Jay-Z grew up in Marcy, they used what they saw and heard there to inspire their music, which became popular far beyond Brooklyn.
Blood everywhere, hot sauce, soak the drop off. You see something, say nothing, mind yours. All your mind will be a stain on that sidewalk. Mind yours. Your mind will be a stain on that sidewalk.
Now that we understand a little more about the soil of Marcy and Jay-Z's roots, we need to take a look at how Jay-Z was able to rise to the level of success we see today. Jay-Z would face many obstacles transitioning from Sean Carter to Jay-Z. He would certainly have work to do before he would plant a seed that would rival his flow.
In the kitchen, cooking like the chicken. Niggas got time, money on my mind. Fit recline, hit a nigga with the nut.
But first, Jay-Z would need to put in hard work to become the established, confident entertainer he is today. This would take trial and error to craft his talent, both on the mic and when giving celebrity appearances.
I feel like I'm the representative for like a whole bunch of people out there, you know, who don't have this forum, you know what I mean, who may, you know, talk eloquently, but they don't know how to put it in rhyme form. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I just have that talent, you know, to put it in rhyme form and speak. All I'm doing is taking their words and their conversation, the conversation that I'm having every day, and just putting it in the rhyme form, and just, I'm that voice, I'm that cry from the ghetto.
Jay-Z would show he was willing to put in the work to go from awkward interviews and amateur performances.
Can you do me a favor and put your hands together for Jay-Z?
This would clearly not be an easy task. However, Jay-Z's natural talent would help him build on his Dutch roots and foundation.
It's my man Jay-Z.
Yeah. AFC just throw your hands in the air and you bring it under the mic. Fight back the voice of sound. Fight your seat the pound like comparison. Ready to run out. Jay-Z's embarrassing. You're talking about, yeah. Jay-Z is out of here.
Before Jay-Z would hit the amateur stage, he would be forced to deal with the streets of Marcy, where he would have to make difficult decisions that would take him on one of two paths in life. Brooklyn at the time had a culture of robbery. One of these decisions would deal directly with Jay-Z becoming a victim of the Brooklyn robbery culture. At the time, the jacket Jay-Z is seen wearing was considered fly. Because of that, the streets would test Jay-Z's credibility and he would be robbed of the jacket. Now he's faced with a difficult decision: get it back in blood or walk away to continue on a path to become a famous rapper. While this seems like an easy decision from our advantage of hindsight, we would think Jay-Z would walk away and go on to become rich and successful. We have to remember, at the time, Jay-Z was forced to play by a different set of rules. This moment would be Jay-Z's fork in the road. He was on the rise and able to buy materialistic items that were meant to show success. However, because of the culture of his surroundings, this made him a target and he was robbed. Rather than remain a victim, Jay-Z would return to confront the robber with his team in hopes that he could get his items back. Think about this: Jay-Z understood the Brooklyn robbery rules. He knew that nothing would be handed back. He understood that best case, when he found the robber, if there was enough respect, the man that robbed him would offer him a fair fight. He also understood that things could quickly escalate. Knowing this, Jay-Z and his team did what they thought was the best decision and to get his coat back. They were ready to risk it all for shit that couldn't have been worth more than a few $1,000s. Before we get back to Jay-Z memes, this is where we have to give credit. Jay-Z knew he could lose all the motion he was able to build and maintain up to this point. We can't help but think this moment was a pivotal point that was driven by ego, and Jay-Z was faced with a choice: either prove himself in this moment or prove something to himself for the long term. This brings us to Jay-Z's relationship with J. Cole and how a series of events would unfold before our eyes. And J. Cole, for some reason, would like you to believe they met in New York when J. Cole conveniently waited in the rain to hand Jay-Z a demo tape only to be brushed off. But this couldn't be further from the truth. J. Cole and Jay-Z are actually cousins. They would like you to believe they met in 2007. This raises a simple question. Why would they try to act like they didn't always know each other? And why try to make us believe they weren't related? Let's just say the answer raises even more questions. But it also explains a few things we've seen play out in front of our faces.
All right, so I was reading your Jay-Z story about how the first time you met him. I would like for you to tell that story for everybody.
Are you talking about the one where...
Let's pause here for a moment. J. Cole just admitted he has multiple stories of how and when he met Jay-Z, but let's let J. Cole continue on with his bullshit story.
How the first time you met him, I would like for you to tell that story for everybody.
Are you talking about the one where this...
The really humbling one.
Oh my God. Okay, so I was working at a job. At this point I was telemarketing for a really small newspaper in Queens. But anyways, you know that Kanye line where he's like, if I could just get one beat on Hova, we can get up off this cheap ass sofa. That was my life. I was like, yo, I had a shirt that said produced for Jay-Z or Die Trying. I was ready. I was with it.
Wow.
I promise you.
It says produced for Jay-Z or Die
Trying.
Do you have that shirt still?
Yes, I still have it.
Good. That's
okay.
hot.
So
I like that.
So I saw the press release that he was coming out with American Gangster and everything was happening really fast, and I'm like, yo, you know what? I bet he's still kind of doing a few more joints. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I had an idea for a song. I went home that day, made a beat, which I think is incredible. It's called Top of the World.
Okay.
I made a beat CD.
I would love to hear that beat.
You know what? I have my laptop.
My plan that always been giving me hope. I should have known you can't heal a heart with a band.
I got a hook on it and everything. So we made a BCD, went to, and I told E, matter of fact, I'm like, yo, you know what? I bet he's probably gonna be at the studio tonight. You know, I bet.
Baseline Studio.
This was, at this time, they was at Rock the Mic. I knew I had read this. You know, I'm stalking online.
In the Queen's paper you read.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, let's just go. I had a feeling, man. So we hopped the train. We went there. We got a little bottle. We was just sitting outside for like 2 hours drinking. It started raining. I'm sitting there with a beat CD.
A t-shirt on.
T-shirt on and a bottle, just waiting, just praying that Jay is gonna show up. So about 2 hours later, we see this black Phantom turn the corner. And it's kind of like you just feel the energy of Hova. Like
Hova.
So he had a security jump out the truck that was in front of him, go to his car just to open his door. This was this man's job, to hop out of his car to come open up
Jay-Z security kind of be dickhead sometimes too.
For real?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I ain't get to see that night. But so Jay gets out of the car, walks up to the building, and I'm like trying to build up the nerve to go up to him with the CD.
After you waited all that time in the rain.
Waited all that time in the rain, and I'm like, yo, I don't even know what to say. Yo, Jay, nah, I definitely couldn't muster up an So I'm just like, yo, Jay, I got this. Like, what is this? Like, what is this? I'm like,
he said, what is this?
He's like, nah, he didn't. I don't even think he said, what is this? He might have looked at it and he was like, I don't want this shit.
Oh, not nice.
You know what he was trying to say though? Basically, it was like, I don't take demos. Like, in Jay-Z's way, he was basically trying to say like, yo, at that time he was the president. Like, I'm the president of Def Jam. Like, I don't grab demos. He was like, give it to one of those guys. It was like Lenny S or something following. I'm just like,
shout out to Lenny S.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. I don't even think Lenny took it.
But this couldn't be further from the truth. J. Cole and Jay-Z are actually cousins. They would like you to believe they met in 2007. However, we clearly see they go back to this picture taken in 1997. This connects a few dots. J. Cole admits to not reading the record contract he signed with Jay-Z. Pay attention to this clip, the letter written by J. Cole, covered by Hip Hop DX.
J. Cole penned a highly emotional personal essay this week for Derek Jeter's publication, The Players Tribune, called The Audacity. At one point, the Reverend MC admitted he never read the contract when signing with Jay-Z's label, Roc Nation, on February 24, 2009. The actual moment of signing the contract was relatively unremarkable. Ib and I sat in a small, quiet conference room across from an associate of my fancy new lawyer. The mountain of papers in front of him included multiple copies of a record deal that I never actually read. The associate pointed at the area of each page that needed my signature, and when all the copies were signed, Ib and I probably dabbed each other up and said some shit like, "Aight, my dog, let's get it." With empty pockets, we hopped in the dented black Honda Civic and slid down to the Lower East Side of Manhattan to celebrate at a bar with some of our homeboys.
J. Cole would use this story as a way to tell us he wasn't happy about his business dealings with Jay-Z. It turns out Jay-Z would try to keep J. Cole's masters and make it very difficult for his own cousin to get them back. But before we can get to that, we have to understand why Jay-Z would do this to his own cousin. We already know Jay-Z was capable of shooting his own brother at an early age for simply stealing a ring. We also know he was willing to confront armed robbers to get his chain and jacket back, even though he knew things could go left very quickly. Now imagine what he would do to a cousin that decided to leak highly personal information Jay-Z intended to hide from the world forever. This information was about his secret son named Little Dang, also known as Little Jay-Z.
Cooking like the chicken. Got time, money on my mind. Fit recline, hit a nigga with the nine.
So what if Lil J actually was my son? It's not your business.
This story just might break the internet. Over the years, there has been tons of speculation about Jay-Z's secret kids across the country. Well, today, a new one has surfaced that looks more like Jay-Z than any of the others. Some say he even raps better than Jay-Z. In this story, we take a closer look at Jay-Z's newest kid that no one can deny. A viral video recently surfaced and has taken the internet by storm. The video features a talented rapper from Texas named Lil Dang. You might say he has an uncanny resemblance to Jay-Z, and for this reason, the internet has given him the nickname Lil Jay-Z. The internet is buzzing with speculation that he just might bring his very own son to his label. More from Jay-Z on this.
Who do you look at and say, this man or woman speaks for the things I care about?
It's gonna be funny, but I find it funny, but I like Lil Jay-Z.
Before we get into Lil Jay-Z's story, we need to first take a closer look at some of his other secret kids. This helps answer the question of how his newest son remained under the radar for so long and why he is going viral right now.
Yes, sir, nigga deal with you. Broke the boys out, nigga.
So Jay-Z's alleged son takes a paternity test battle to Supreme Court. So Rymir Satterthwaite, who has been claiming to be Hova's son for decades, has taken his case to the Supreme Court. Rymir petitioned Jay-Z's attorney to submit to DNA testing, but Hova allegedly never complied with the request.
You mean, you got a daughter, like, she's supposed to have an opportunity to live in your house if she want to. She's supposed to be a princess. She's supposed to be able to go wherever you go. Fuck your image, all that shit don't matter. You know what I mean? So I'm looking like, man, it's too, like, I mean, he do shit I don't understand. Maybe it's above my thinking. You know what I mean? But I just don't get it. So, like, I mean,
you just seen Jay-Z's daughter the other day, right?
No, I uploaded the other day, but it was like back the day before Jadakiss Versus.
Parody was Jay-Z's daughter from Cambridge, Maryland. I've been hearing that Jay-Z was my father all my life. There's no way that he can deny anything, especially when people were there that know him. He knows that I exist.
Well, Beyonce is not having this at all, and she is finally revealing the messed up truth about Jay-Z's secret child.
Is there anything you can say? How can you make it right with those guys?
Forget me 'cause they never got me.
And this is where things go completely left. At this point, Jay-Z would begin going down a slope he may not be able to climb back up.
Yo.
Alright, well, I ain't going to Dallas then. I'm not going to Dallas. Come on, man. I'm not getting on a commercial plane to go to Dallas.
When Jay-Z and UGK teamed up to create the classic song Big Pimpin', Jay-Z would spend a few extra hours working and plant a seed that would later become Little Jay-Z.
Cousin named Bubba, or cousin named Meech. He'll come through in a brand new Caprice. I ain't even tripping though, riding on 8. Yep, I got Dooney, that's my brother right today. Yep, I love my mama, love my daddy, love my fam. Everybody know that I ain't from the T-Town. The nigga wanna do, I'ma pull up with my niggas. I got an AK with a big pistol. Yes, sir, nigga deal with you. Broke the boys out, nigga, look in the...
These clips released by Little Jay-Z have released so many questions. Is this really Jay-Z's son? Are these just old clips of Jay-Z? It's even been said that this was a clone of Jay-Z. However, thanks to Jay-Z's cousin J. Cole, the world now knows this is Little Jay-Z, Jay-Z's secret son. Once J. Cole leaked this information, many famous rappers would reach out trying to make a song with Little Jay-Z.
Straight the fuck up. Jay-Z, boy, you be doing your shit. I love to do a record with you too.
Get him. Hey, Puna, don't get mad, though.
I ain't gonna get mad, nigga.
Seal looking ass to my deal looking at you, but I ain't one eye looking at, my pie looking at, my John looking at. Boy, your ass look like some shitty green grass.
And you look like a orangutan.
This brings us to Jay-Z's 100th problem. It seems so obvious once we connect the correct dots. We know Jay-Z grew up in Marcy, which was built directly on Dutch soil. We know Jay-Z had a rough upbringing, which caused him to shoot his brother. We know he was robbed, but had the courage to face his fear and attempt to get his stuff back. We know that his own cousin exposed his secret son. However, what we don't yet know is exactly what his 100th problem is, and it's been hidden in plain sight all this time. Pay close attention to this next clip. Jay-Z breaks down the story behind 99 Problems.
The song is 99 Problems, but a bitch ain't one. And the second verse deals with this exchange between people. You know, here you have this guy who's in a car and he has, you know, drugs on him and he's all the way in the wrong. And he's going on the highway, and here you have this cop who's on the turnpike, and he pulls the car over, not because they have drugs in the car, but because the driver is black, which happened a lot. If you look at the survey during those times in between 88 to 96, there was a big investigation about that driving while black. So this officer pulls...
That's 2010.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. So they pull the car over, he pulls the car over, and they have this exchange. And both guys are used to getting their way. So the driver knows he's in the wrong, but he knows he hasn't done anything to be pulled over. So this, the line in the song, I was doing 55 in the 54. There's no such thing as a 54. I was actually doing the speed limit, and he pulled me over for no reason. So there's small lines in there that say so much. And he pulls me over and said, "Are you carrying a weapon on you? I know a lot of you are." That blanket statement tells you what sort of person he is. A lot of you are. Are you carrying a weapon on you? No, a lot of you are. And this guy knows a bit about the law because he's used to breaking it. So he knows how. So he's protecting himself. He knows you can't go in my glove compartment without a search warrant, and you can't go in my trunk. You can't go in anywhere that your hands can't see or reach without, you can't open a locked glove compartment unless you have, the proper search warrant. And the officer's retort was, "Are you some type of lawyer or something?" So it's this conversation between these two people, and he's waiting for a K-9 unit to come. A K-9 unit comes, we're all in trouble because the K-9 smells the drugs, car gets pulled over, boom, we get locked up. But somehow the K-9 was on another call, and he couldn't hold us for so long. So we pull off, and as we pull off, about 5 minutes down the road, we see a car screeching, lights blaring, and we look and we see K-9 unit coming up the highway. So I have 99 problems, but that bitch ain't one.
Jay-Z's description of 99 problems painted a picture of a dealer running into the law. The mindset Jay-Z had to create such a brilliant story was based on perspective and experience. This mindset would later prepare Jay-Z for the business world. But before he could become successful in business, he would first learn to hustle on the streets of Delaware. In this revealing interview with DeHaven, a former friend of Jay-Z, he provides a candid glimpse into Jay-Z's early life and experiences with handling a substantial amount of money at a young age. DeHaven recounts how, at just 17 years old, Jay-Z had amassed an impressive $100,000, which he stashed away in various locations, including his own home and the homes of trusted friends. Despite the allure of his newfound wealth, Jay-Z's spending habits were surprisingly conservative. DeHaven explains that Jay-Z wasn't one to splurge on frivolous items. Instead, he maintained a frugal approach, prioritizing saving and investment opportunities. This disciplined mindset, DeHaven suggests, was ingrained in Jay-Z from his upbringing, where financial preparedness was essential for navigating the unpredictable streets of Brooklyn. DeHaven sheds light on the turbulent environment that surrounded Jay-Z during his early years. With the streets of Brooklyn teeming with violence and uncertainty, Jay-Z made the pivotal decision to relocate to Trenton, New Jersey. This move, DeHaven explains, was driven by the escalating dangers of their neighborhood and the desire for a fresh start. In Trenton, they found themselves immersed in a world of opportunity and danger. DeHaven recounts how Jay-Z's entrepreneurial spirit led him to establish a thriving drug operation, with Jay playing a crucial role in its success. Despite the risk involved, he took precautions to protect Jay from the most dangerous aspects of their growing enterprise. The operation in Trenton would eventually come to an end when the police began close in. However, before anything would happen, Jay-Z and his team decided to set up shop in Delaware. However, while this story sounds somewhat believable and is reinforced in many of his songs, there are real questions. Just pay attention to this short clip to see if you spot any holes. In this interview, DeHaven is asked how much work Jay-Z put into hustling. Does the response seem believable to you?
Yeah, he get busy. Yeah, he got busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm in New York, he gonna get busy. You know what I mean? And and they took into him. He had a nice squad. He had his own little squad that got busy for him. So yeah, he knew how to be a boss.
Now he's asked if Jay-Z would go on re-up runs. Maybe this is a legit response. Drop a comment.
Yeah, I ain't really take him on those kind of trips, really. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, but I didn't ever take him like on dangerous things and, like missions like that. But he would go. He went a few times, you know what I'm saying? But that wasn't no biggie to take him, you know what I mean? The one time I took him.
Now let's look at what Fatsy and Love has to say about Jay-Z being a drug dealer.
When Jay-Z creates this whole drug dealer, drug lord, I'm a drug dealer, I'm a drug lord,
These kids, and we gotta do it too, to be like Jay-Z. Not knowing that this is all made up shit.
Fajan is certain that DeHaven's story about Jay-Z's past experience was all made up in effort to make Jay-Z appear to have lived the life he only watched.
Right. No, not partner. He was the drug dealer. Jay was eating chips. DeHaven knows the truth. I heard one of these dudes say, Jay-Z had so much money out here, his drawers full of money. He has so much money, why does he have to go to Big to start a record company?
Maybe Jay-Z did what he claims in the streets. Maybe he watched and learned from others. One thing is certain, he was able to take that ambition and apply it to a legitimate life and build business that would amass a fortune. Through this hard work, Jay-Z would outshine many of his peers. Now that we understand a bit more about Jay-Z's past hustling, this ambition would help Jay-Z become a legal entrepreneur. He had a dream to change the way urban fashion was done. When his clothing line came out in 1999, he didn't just start a clothing line. He started making an impact on a market waiting to be tapped into. From the streets of Brooklyn to the stages of Hollywood, his clothing line became a name that everyone knew for the style of hip-hop. Each piece of clothing was more than just fabric. It made a statement and showed how street culture has had a lasting effect on standard fashion. As the famous brand became worn by both famous people and the youth, Jay-Z's mark on fashion became permanent, and his influence became a part of everyday style. In spite of this, Jay-Z had bigger goals. In 2008, he started Roc Nation, a huge entertainment company that did a lot more than just music. He didn't just sign acts at Roc Nation. He also put together experiences that changed the mood with every beat drop and lyric written. From hit songs to new movies, Roc Nation became a place where creative people from all over the world could come together. But Jay-Z's vision was more than just entertainment. It was a movement that showed how art and society can change people. Jay-Z made waves in the streaming world in 2015 when he bought Tidal, a service that offers high-quality sound and exclusive material. He wasn't just joining the fight with Tidal, he was shaking things up, giving artists back control of their work, and changing the way things work online. From small acoustic sessions to huge events with famous artists, Tidal became a safe place for music fans. This shows Jay-Z's unwavering dedication to new ideas and artistic integrity. But Jay-Z had an impact on many areas besides music and clothes. He went into the world of luxury drinks when he bought Ace of Spades champagne. These drinks turned celebrations into unforgettable experiences. His 40/40 Club, which was a popular spot for both sports fans and socialites, became an important part of city nightlife. This shows how well he could combine business and fun. Jay-Z didn't just start businesses with each one. He also created memories that will live on in many different fields. From the streets of Brooklyn to the top of the world music scene, Jay-Z's journey shows how important it is to have a clear goal, be strong, and keep trying to be the best.
And you have another special announcement as well about your performances.
Again, another dream come true. You know, again, I've been involved in this 7 years or so. So it's really been 7 years. So to see it really happening is.
What is this going to do for the community?
As you see, it's already, you know, we've employed thousands and thousands of people. And then, you know, to run the building takes more people. So.
And just having a sports team in the area, is that going to help the morale of the neighborhood? And you think everyone's really going to get on board with this?
Well, it's Brooklyn. You know, we have deep love. You know, spread love in the Brooklyn way. We have deep love for our, our heroes and our sports champion and music champion. So it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
How much say did you have in the final name of the team?
Well, it couldn't come to Brooklyn and not be called
Don't
Brooklyn.
be humble. Exactly. Exactly.
It's Brooklyn now, so it takes it to a whole new level for me.
All right. Well, we are so excited to hear your official announcement. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you're new here and made it this far, get ready for the spoiler. And if you've been a part of the OnPoint Stories family, you know what to do to play along. You now have two choices. Get in the comments and say, this entire video is fake, or help OnPoint Stories grow by sharing this video to spread the word. If you haven't guessed by now, this video is AI edited, and about 50% of what you just watched was bullshit. This is what we do. No, Jay-Z and J. Cole are not cousins, and he doesn't have a secret son named Little Jay-Z. That's actually a talented rapper from Texas named Little Dang. His link is in the comments. Share this across your social media and make sure your friends and followers watch until the end. And Jay-Z, if you happen to keep getting tagged in this video, I hope you have a sense of humor, because OnPoint Stories is bringing something a little different to the internet. You should sign Little Dang and break the internet.
Up in the kitchen, I ain't doing no tripping, cooking like the chicken. Nigga got time, money on my mind. Bitch, recline, hit a nigga with the nine. I know some niggas wanna fight Lil Dang, cause I'm a real nigga, cause I do my thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of niggas wanna hate me though, but guess what? I'm the reason I'm in the studio. Still trying to make it, these niggas hating Dang. I'm a real nigga though, cause I do my thing. Young Dang gotta snap back. I'ma come through what it do, my nigga. I'ma turn up, turn down, little nigga. Y'all not fucking with us. Me and my crew stay dangerous. Y'all not fucking with us.
And by the way, 50 Cent also has a secret son named Little 50 Cent. Watch the exclusive video on OnPoint Stories YouTube channel now.
Give me the mic. Now, let me ride my bike. And then my dad, 50 Cent.
What the hell is even
Play
that?
your son, 50,
From chat.
Let's go, Lil Dang.
Die zijn van ons, hè?
Mind yours. Your mind be a stain on that sidewalk.
Get my bus, bust my gat. I'm dyslexic. Now I'm just get shit off my chest. I bench press it. 420, smoking a pound on the bench stressing. Only answer if I'm being tested is next question. But when it stops short, you better pop off. There's blood everywhere. Hot sauce over drop off. You see something, say nothing. Mind yours. Or your mind will be a stain on that sidewalk. You see something, don't say nothing. Mind yours. Or your mind will be a stain on that sidewalk. And I be tripping with no veins. Time off. I'm sniffing super glue while I'm chewing rocks off.
Subscribe for more OnPoint Stories.
Neck breaking. Extract air out your lungs. Breathtaking. Not to be fooled with. It's not for amusement. Great balls of fire. Ryan, you a dual kid. Show that I'm the one you want to do it with. My toolkit got recoil you like a mule kit. Wanna blow fast? Maybe you can use this. A few sticks of dynamite with the fuse lit. That applies to anybody. If the shoe fit, put it on. You just ride the wave like cruise shit.
How many fucking times you gonna ask to do a hit on school? That was a one-time thing. The game don't fuck with that dumbass buffoonery.
Please.
How'd you get your shoes wet?
You know how. These are my freaking.
Ow.
5 bands on a fit. 5 bands on a fit. Put your pillow looking. It ain't fun.